Welcome to the second part of this lesson, where we're going to work through some examples of factorizing quadratic trinomials. So the instructions here are to factorize each of the following. Here's the first one that we have to factorize. So remember, what we're going to do is we're going to find two numbers that I can multiply together to give me 10, and those same two numbers have to add together to give me 7. And just so we're crystal clear on this, the product has to be 10, and that 10 is coming from the last term there. And then where is this 7 coming from? It's the coefficient of this x there. Okay, so now we just need to turn our brains on and see if we can think of what these numbers would be. And this just comes with practice. The more you do them, the quicker you'll be able to figure it out. 2 times 5 is 10. 2 plus 5 is 7. So 2 times 5 is 10. 2 plus 5 is 7. So that means what our answer is going to be is x plus 2, x plus 5. So I'm just putting those numbers in there, and we're done. That's our answer, x plus 2, x plus 5. Let's now go to the second one here. So here's negative 8. So that means I'm going to have to think of two numbers that multiply to give me negative 8, and two numbers that add to give me 2. Let's just color code it so that we're all very clear. This negative 8 is the constant, and then that 2 is the coefficient of the x right there. So now, let's grab the red pen. We need to think of two numbers that multiply to negative 8, and those same two numbers have to add to 2. Well, I know it's going to be 4 and 2, right? Because 4 times 2 is going to give me 8, and I know it's going to be 4 and 2 here as well, but now I need to figure out which of these numbers have to be negative in order for this to make sense. If my negative is here, so on my negative 2, 4 times negative 2 is negative 8, and then 4 plus negative 2, well, that's just the same as 4 minus 2, that's 2, so it checks out. So sometimes it's helpful just to put the number in there without the sign, and then put the sign in later, trying to figure it out. So that means our answer is going to be x. I've got this positive 4, and then I've got this negative 2. Just like that, and that is going to be our answer to that one. Let's now go through our third example. So here, something multiplied by something has to be 10, and then those same two numbers have to add together to give me negative 7. And just for completeness sake, let me put in these fancy colors. So this 10 is coming from here, and then this negative 7 is coming from here. Now this is an interesting example here. I think you could pretty much tell just by looking at this that my answer is going to be like 5 and 2, right? But again, I need to figure out what the sign has to be in order for this to make sense. So 5 times 2 is 10, good. 5 plus 2, well, I know I can get to 7, but I need to get the negative 7. And what you have to do here is that these both have to be negative. Negative 5 plus negative 2 is negative 7. Negative 5 times negative 2 is positive 10. So pretty tricky there. Two negatives make positive, and then this way we get that negative 7. So that means our answer is going to be x minus 5, x minus 2. And that's going to be our answer to that one. Perfect. Hopefully all of that makes sense on how we approached it. Okay, let's come down here now. Let's come here. You might like to pause the video and see how you go with these right here. I might move through these a little quicker. And yeah, so pause the video and see how you go. Okay, hopefully you have answers to these questions. Let's now go through them together. So the first one here. So I need to think of two numbers that multiply together to give me 14 and add it together to give me 9. Thinking for a moment, I think that's going to be 2 and 7. So 2 times 7 is 14. 2 plus 7 is 9. So that means my answer is going to be x plus 2, x plus 7. Then over here, I would say I need two numbers that multiply together to give me negative 12, and two numbers that add together to give me 4. Thinking about it for a while, I think it's going to be 6, 2, 6, 2, right? But then one of them is going to have to be negative. It's going to be negative 2, because 6 times negative 2 is negative 12. 6 plus negative 2 is 4. That means my answer is going to be x plus 6, x minus 2. Then we come over here. So this is going to be two numbers that multiply to give me 12 and two numbers that add to give me negative 7. So two numbers. Okay, so this is going to be, well, I know that 3 and 4 give me 12 and 3 plus 4 gives me 7, but then they're both, everything's going to have to be negative. Negative 3 times negative 4 is negative 3 times negative 4 is positive 12. Negative 3 plus negative 4 is negative 7. So that means my answer to this one is going to be x minus 3, x minus 4. Perfect. And that's how we approach it. So hopefully you were able to get those answers. Let me just highlight them. There's one of them there. There's another. And there's the last one. Perfect. There's just one more idea I want to go through, and then we'll call it quits. Okay. So it's really important when you're factorizing that the first thing you should always look out for is whether you can pull something out of the whole thing first. So what I mean by that is, can you factorize out a common factor from all of these? So here I have 2x squared minus 2x minus 12. First, take out 2. So I can take this 2 out there, and now I'm going to get x squared minus 2x minus x minus 6. So as you can see, I took out a common factor of 2, because remember, if I was to expand this out, it's going to be 2 times this, times this, times this. So by taking it out, I've just made my life easier. And also, we don't yet have the skill to factorize things when my x squared has a coefficient. So we're only ever going to give you questions that you can take out a common factor when there is something in front of the x squared. Okay, so once we've done that, now what we have to do is simply factorize this right here. So we just need to factorize this now. And then we'll just ask ourselves, and hopefully you're getting pretty confident with doing this at the moment. So I'm going to put a 2 here. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to say I need two numbers like that. I need two numbers that multiply together to give me negative 6 and add together to give me negative 1. So what is that going to be? It's going to be negative 3 plus 2. And just like that, I've got my answer. So over here as well, the first thing that you're going to do is you're going to pull out 3 from the entire thing, which is going to leave you with x squared minus 2x. And then if I take 3 out of 45, it's going to leave me with 15 there. And now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to factorize this. Factorize. So hopefully again you're feeling confident. Like that. X. So two numbers that multiply together to give me negative 15 and then add together to give me negative 2. I know it's going to be 3 and 5, right? Because that just makes sense without the signs, and now I just need to figure out what the signs are going to be. If it's negative, I know that my bigger number is going to have to be negative, like that. So negative 5 times 3 is negative 15. Negative 5 plus 3 is negative 2. And, whoopsie daisy, the world makes sense. So hopefully that makes sense. Sometimes you have to pull out a common factor before you can factorize. But that's it. Hopefully you found all of that manageable. A very important skill that we're working through. So hopefully you feel like you have a good grasp of it. All right.